Hello, Kanye.
What's up?
Thank you for being here at the Jean Touitou office. We are called Clique because there's nobody fucking with my clique. I have a sentence of Dr. Dre always make me think about you is when he says,
"You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge."
it always make you think to what you're doing.
Ooh, I have to use that at the beginning of a show. That would be, you are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Can you give me your definition of the street knowledge?
I think growing up around gangbangers, drug dealers, gunslingers, I guess that's the word you use for it. Like my homie got locked up for selling guns at age 15 and all that. Navigating that, living inside of that, navigating that, having a vision to make it somewhere. That the thing that kept me alive around the goons also put a little bit of that goon inside me. And there's some times where people have witnessed just a bit of that part of me come out, and I want to really subdue that as much as possible and do as much positive for the world, and not let anything from my past or any knowledge or anything stop or compromise my service to the world, my ability to serve as much as possible.
You work with Gesaffelstein, Brodinski, Daft Punk. You did a radical album and it's selling, so it means that we can change the way to do music who sells.
Yeah, I believe so. I agree.
You know how to make a hit record. You did the singles, you did the classics.
In the same hospital where Biggie Smalls died, the doctor said I had blood clots, but I ain't Jamaican, man. Story on MTV, and I ain't trying to make a band. I swear this right here, history in the making, man. When it falls down, who you gon' call it? I'ma touch the sky, now let's take them high. I had a dream I could buy my way to heaven. When I awoke, I spent that on a necklace. That means gun, sex, lies, videotape. But if I talk about God, my record won't get played.
It's amazing, I'm the reason everybody fired up this evening.
I'm like the fly Malcolm X, buy any jeans necessary. Detroit red cleaned up.
I'm not loving you way I wanted to. I bet no one knew, I got no one knew.
She don't believe in shooting stars, but she believe in shoes and cars. Baby, don't worry about it. Lady, we'll go out to the floor. I'm living in the future, so the present is my past. My presence is a present, kiss my ass. I get it custom. You a customer, you ain't custom to going through customs. You ain't been nowhere, huh?
Honey.
You know what that mean? I'm fly to death.
And will your music be more and more radical?
Yeah, I think it will. But I think it'll be radical hits. At the same time, that's the key. You want to just hit it right up the middle. That's the true Robin Hood, that, from 3 miles away to like hit that bullseye. It's like, okay, I can hit everything with a clean arrow. Let me weight it at the top. And then if you do that, you weight it at the top of the arrow, you have to lean back a little bit. And so Jesus might not have been the biggest success, but it's like a person that can hit 10 in a row, saying, okay, now let me hit 100 in a row, hit 1,000 in a row. Saying, let me weight it so I can learn how to do this. Because I might be in a situation where we're at some type of war and I'm gonna have one arrow. I'm not gonna have enough arrows to be able to have the luxury of what I'm doing right now. So let me do this so I can learn that. And then you take something else. Let me weight it at the back and let me figure out how to hit that. And through Jesus comes like all day.
And I keep a bad chick on the passenger side. All day, all day.
through Jesus comes only one.
Hello, my only one.
I've grown. I've went to the gym like Michael Jordan when he was going to win his championships and everything. He was going to the gym. He had to get stronger to go up against like the Pistons and things like that. We're going up against some, major hit makers and stuff. And just I look at Drake as like an amazing sparring partner.
Way up, I feel blessed.
Someone's like, come on, man, get back up. Bow, get back up. What's up? What's up, bro? What you doing? Because, you sit there. I was sitting there getting fat, sitting back, just knocked everybody out. And then this guy hits the gym. He's just like running around like, bah, 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 14 hits. Same as Paul McCartney, bow, I'm like, well, okay, let me go to the studio then. Let's see what's happening. Let me get these lyrics up. Let me see what's happening. So that's where you're at right now. That's where you're getting these records from, yeah.
Is it still one of the greatest values in the hip-hop is the competition?
I think it's an important part of it. I think it's an important part in everything. I think in fashion, architecture, anything there has to be a competition. I think healthy competition is better than rivalry. I think rivalry becomes a cancer. It becomes like termites in your house. I think healthy competition is something where you appreciate how hard this person goes. I think that Michael needed Prince. Everybody needs somebody to kick their ass a little bit.
Back in the days, people could be crazy to see white people singing niggas in Paris in a club.
Got my niggas in Paris, and we just went gorillas.
I think that you make the mentality move about that. What do you think about all this stuff about the N-word, what they call the N-word?
It's difficult for black people right now. It does hurt when we hear that because we're still in a generation that remembers when racism was a big thing that held people back. And now it's more classism, it's more social. It's like where your class is and where your financial standing is that can hold you back, because obviously there are some black people that have broken the concept of race, like Obama or something, Jay-Z. It's true that white people use that word at concerts. It's like when my words get taken out of context. I can say anything I want on a beat, but when I would say it in an interview, we take it out of context and be like, oh, he's an egomaniac. But it's like, wait a second, this is the way people rap. People rap about, it's like boxing. If you box inside the ring and you beat somebody all the way up, you can make millions of dollars. If you box at a bar and you beat somebody up, you'll lose millions of dollars. So it's all in the context. Yes, the context right now that socially pulls things in and out of. So I'll say like a really big statement that I do feel that in the future, it would be more widely accepted, for like a younger generation that doesn't deal with the negative effects of it, and I'm on a similar mission of breaking down these words and these stereotypes and this imagery. Like if you think about the Yeezus tour, I used the Confederate flag, much like the punk movement would use that German symbol. I won't even want to even speak on it, and flip it upside down or put a cross out on it and stuff. But me, I took the Confederate flag and I just wore it on my arm. Like, now what? What if I, as a black guy, take this thing that's used as to be racist against, and now what? Now what? Basically, because people get so caught up in the wrong things and want to point fingers off of content over intent.
I was touched when you were saying that the real racism right now is social.
Yeah.
Have you lived this social racism?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it racism. You say a form of discrimination or bigotry. Yeah, it's like racism is a dated concept. It's like a silly concept that people try to touch on to either to separate, to alienate, to pinpoint anything. It's stupid. It's like a bouncing ball in a room of two cats or something. When you don't feel like playing with the cat, so you throw this bouncing ball.
You're talking about my life.
And let them like literally fight over the bouncing ball. and the bouncing ball has nothing, no purpose, anything other than it bounces. That's racism. It's not an actual thing that even means anything. You know, it's something that was used to hold people back in the past, but now there's been so many leaps and breaking of the rules that it's like, it's played out like, you know, like a style from the, you know, 1800s or something. You know, the real true freedom isn't in the words. The true freedom is in the opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's opportunities and the dignity of people. You know, who's to say, you know, there could be a cab driver who's more dignified than a businessman, you know, and who's to say because this guy has this apartment at the top of the Louvre or something is more important than this guy staying down, you know, because it's a matter of, you know, how you are, how you treat human beings.
What you have in your heart.
Yeah. And how you display that heart to people, you know, how you talk to every person. And for us, the more power that you have, the less you are a king, the more you are a servant, the more power you have, you know, and we are servants. We're going to provide a service with this interview. Maybe people will be, I won't assume what someone will get from this, but it's when I figured out what my position was, is when the doors opened up. It's literally like unlocking a code. And when I'm knocking at the door saying, I'm a God or something like that, everyone's like, okay, well, God, stay out there. But if I'm coming in, but mind you, if someone's like, hey, I want to come up and I'd like to sweep up your floor for you, you know, everybody's like, oh yeah, cool, come in, I need my floor swept. So to position yourself as a servant, because that's all we are. We're servants to God. This is a Christian view of mine. You know, that's, I think that's the best you can be. The lowest is the best you can be.
When you're talking about breaking the rules and putting the system down and to break what you call the big corporation, people like you like, wow.
Yeah, I don't want to put the system down or break a big corporation. I'd like to be able to be one with the system to help more people. You know, you need structure. You need support. You need structure. I'd like to, you know, be able to work with the system to bring more beauty and truth to the world and inspiration. I just want to be in a position to be able to contribute as much as possible. I don't have any like financial aspirations, any like mogul aspirations. I just have people aspirations. I just want people to hear as much beautiful music, to see as much beautiful art, to wear as much beautiful clothing, and experience as much beautiful films, and be able to have as much time to spend with their family, and for people to be inspired to educate themselves and to grow as a humanity, where just the common human being, the fact that my daughter learned how to swipe before she learned how to read, you know, that the common human being is better. You know, I want to see before I pass, you know, 5-year-olds, you know, being at 10 times the level of a current human 5-year-old right now by, you know, removing all separatist concepts, you know, or not letting them bear or weigh you down. You know, like I'm a Christian, but when I deliver a Christian view, I say, hey, you know, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to force this on you. Yeah. This isn't the Crusades. I'm just going to tell you that this is my opinion and this is the way I think. Everyone has a way to think, you know, it's a way, you know, people have different ways to count their steps to get back to their home if they're like 10 miles away. And somebody might take this path and somebody might take another path. I'm not saying any path is wrong, but you can't condemn the person that takes the other path. So you could choose your own path in life, but, you know, we have to be accepting of each other just as one race, you know, that we're all family. We're like distant cousins, you know.
When you talk about the new slave, to you, what is the new slavery that you have to stop?
Yeah, slavery to materialism, to perception.
To your passion?
No, wait a second. I'm giving my answer.
Oh, sorry.
to perception is what I was referring to. You know, the class is like what creates like this slavery in a way. I gave my daughter these toys, and I was complaining about some of the toys that my daughter had, saying like, these toys don't have enough quality, soul, life, energy in them. And then Vanessa Beecroft bought her these wolves that were very lifelike and had so much, you know, creativity put into the way they were made. And when my daughter saw them, she started screaming and running around. It was the happiest I'd ever seen her. There was 3 wolves. And that level of joy, it feels like everything we're doing in life, we're trying to get that moment back, that level of joy. You know, you go through all this, having a job, you have a girlfriend, a wife, kids, this, that, and you hop in your BMW and you want to grab the wheel and feel like you're gonna feel as happy as that day, but you don't. And you realize that somehow joy had been stolen from you. Someone grabbed those wolves from you when you were really young and packaged them in all of the needs of society and said, don't open for another 20 years, you know. And when you finally get back to those wolves, you know. It costs so much to open them up. You literally had to pay all your college loans off. You had to pay, you know, all your debts to society, all this to finally open that wolf package back up again. And it just doesn't feel like the same amount of joy that, you know, my daughter had at that point. And there's gotta be a way to have more love in the world, more joy, more beauty, and more understanding. There's gotta be a way.
How can we find that way? Like, is it possible? Is it by the spirituality? Is it by the action?
Just love itself. I think, you know, love, respect, dignity, and, you know, being concerned for the next man, the next person next to you, the next human being. I think there should be award shows for the Nobel Peace Prize, but I guess they just don't sell enough ad time. They don't sell as much ad time as pop stars. So, you know, simple as that.
I always wonder a question about you. When, you know, we were talking with Jean, he was saying that it was hard for you to get into this fashion world. And you were saying that it was hard too for Michael Jackson to put his video on MTV. And I don't realize how much a guy like you that I listen every day, I watch every day, and who influences the youth every time you do something, people want to do it. And how is it possible that, like, the big houses don't understand that?
I think the thought was that everything popular was very basic and not complex. And, you know, the negative connotation of commercial. So as soon as you're commercial, you don't have the complexity of a Bach, a Mozart, a Basquiat or something. And if you say out loud as a commercial person that you are in the same breath as Basquiat, then everyone looks at you like you're an egomaniac or something. But then you'd be like, wait a second, you know, like I was gifted artist since age 5 and like national competitions and went to, you know, art school. I'm actually getting a honorary doctorate on May 5th from the Art Institute of Chicago. So, you know, it was a great wall to break down, but also what's fun about playing in the pop field versus the art field is you get a lot of exposure, and the majority of the pop artists, you know, don't have the same responsibility to the sensibilities, so it's sort of easy to always slam dunk them, you know, to just like hit that Brit Awards performance super hard against everything else that's going on.
All day, hand on y'all players ball. All day, how much time y'all spent in the mall? All day, it take you to get this fly. All day, take the PO, how long you high?
But I want all the best for all the pop stars. I want, you know, all of us to have as inspiring a performance as possible. I think it's important, you know, our point of reference is like we need to study, you know, Fellini and Jodorowsky.
Las alucinaciones de LSD. Si tomara LSD to change the young mind of all the world.
You know, Corbusier and the different information that I've got from living out here with Paris and hanging out with Jean and, you know, going to the French flea market and everything, like that constant information education. Education is the power. You know, I think that in schools, you know, moving forward, you know, beauty needs to be understood. Not just, you know, of course we can learn about, you know, Picasso, but we also need to learn about proportions. Proportion is the luxury. You know, everything is inside of proportions. You know, proportions are so important that, like, in ancient times, they would hide the information of proportion, and now it's happening again. You know, if you think about if you picture a Gucci jacket right now, you know, just a guy's Gucci jacket, it doesn't have proper proportions, in my opinion, you know. And you would think about all the artists in Durer, Da Vinci, everyone studied these proportions, and you know, there can be proportions of sound as they are visual. It really lines up, and that's part of what we were doing on Jesus, was like a study of space. It wasn't a conquest to end up on the radio. It was a very clean study of how to use sounds proportionately, I guess.
Is it hard from somebody who grew up where you grew up to be harassed by the journalists, the photograph, the media every time? Do you have some days when you don't want to be famous anymore?
Nope, not anymore. Very happy to be famous. It is a tool that you can use to message as you want. It's taking the power into your own hand. You know, as far as my narrative, anyway, they can write the narrative however they want to write. They can write whatever they want. They can have any conceptions they want, because it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about what anyone in fashion has to say about what I want to do. I'm here in fashion to learn sensibility. You know, I want to create something comparable to what Walt Disney did, but then mix it with what Henry Ford did, and mix it with what Howard Hughes did, mix it with what David Stern did. You know, the way I'm talking about these industries and these cultural revolutions and innovations, and the way that Steve put all that into a phone, it's possible. You know, like, you can approach everything in a tech way. You know, it's like, you respect what happened in the past, but we can make it better. We can vortex, we can zoom into the future. We can think smarter, we can read faster. This is what Ray Kurzweil told me on the phone, so I'm just quoting him about thinking smarter and reading faster and his principles of singularity and all that. But I want to, you know, mix all of these things, so when you go and see a surround vision film that I've done, when you exit through my gift shop, instead of a t-shirt with a character on it from, you know, no knock, but, you know, I'm gonna just say literally what it is. It's a t-shirt from Lian Feng with a picture of the character from the movie. My concept is, when you exit our gift shop, you get a t-shirt that has a proportion that reminds you of a character in the movie, a color palette, fabrication. It's more of a singular concept. And so I said all that to lead up to, okay, well, why fashion, Kanye West? Why this? Well, Walt Disney, I don't know about himself, but due to his success and what he did with films, when they decided to start selling t-shirts, they went and got, I don't know the exact story, but let's just say this is what the story. They went out and got a licensing deal to say, let's put our logo on some t-shirts. And it was simple as that, and now you have like Mickey Mouse t-shirts, right? My take, let me go to Paris and get my ass kicked for 15 years and learn how to make clothes for real, and then let me sell a t-shirt with that level of knowledge. You know, I don't want to sell anything that I'm not extremely knowledgeable about. If I go into beauty, it's gonna take some years, you know, before, you know, it can't happen in 6 months. It's gonna be at least a year and a half, 2 years before the first product comes out, because I have to have so many no's. I have to learn about it, you know, and this would be me working next to experts. I just don't rush product based off my name. The product has to be, you know, something that I can stand behind. The product has to be a contribution to society. It can't be, you know, so much waste has been made in a way. You know, we need to focus on, you know, what is good eliminate the bad. And you know, when I drive down, what's the street that Colette is on and everything?
Rue du Faubourg Saint-Honoré.
Okay, yeah, that street. So it's like patois or something. You're like just saying it so fast.
Saint-Honoré.
Yes, that's how I could say it as a stupid American. So that street reminds me of the computer stores when I was in 7th grade and I wanted to design video games. It was really, really busy and hard to understand. They had these floppy disks and this PC. I remember whenever you had a computer it messed up, they had like a fat computer guy came over and like took your motherboard and he brought it back and it's always never worked and stuff. You try to get on the internet, it's like really slow. And it's like, what are you even looking up on the internet and everything? And it's like black screen with the green words and maybe it'd be a video game on there. It's just like, why are you even on a computer? Like, period, you know? And that time that I remember is where fashion is currently. And I drive down that street and I know that I'm gonna change how difficult it is for people to get dressed. And when I visited the A.P.C store a block and a half from my home on Mercer and Houston, I looked at the way it was merchandised and I thought, this is the merchandising of the future. Because you go to Ralph, who I fully respect, but it feels like a bit too tight, the clothes, you know, for them to breathe. And I think it's the Saint Laurent store is merchandised extremely well, but we know it's a complete ripoff of A.P.C. It's a ripoff of Jean's merchandising, which I always felt was very like futuristic in a way. And one of the first keys to what's gonna happen to, how do you say the street again? Rue?
Saint-Honoré.
Saint-Honoré, yeah. Saint-Honoré being like a giant A.P.C store. As simple, you know, as simple and as easy as it is to understand, to see what it is that you want, the shopping experience, you know, every one of these shopping experiences are so different. And especially like when I was young, I was really scared to walk into luxury stores too. It's very non-inviting. And, you know, and it's very expensive. And like, fuck, if you're not knowledgeable, you can make a very expensive mistake. And extremely like, it's bordering on like, you know, getting a prostitute pregnant or something like that, like an expensive mistake like that when you buy a jacket.
Can we ask Mr. A.P.C to come with us and join us?
Yeah.
Jean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jean, did you hear what he was saying about the A.P.C store and the
Yeah, we're trying to be simple and readable. I don't know. Thanks for the compliment, man. But I think it's totally genuine to do things like this and avoiding people to make big mistake. I like the comparison with the leather jacket, man.
When you did your collection between all the pieces,
yes,
we were talking about these jackets with the fox.
Yes. Yeah, he came with the idea. I think that was a very good symbol of our collaboration because he had the intuition of the fox and our luxury stuff could be mixed up with the military stuff. So I think where he's good at was to bring that strong intuition, and where we were good at basically is to come up with the volume and the right fabric. And that was funny. That was strange a bit for us because it was a pricey piece, even if people found it cheap, by the way, because in some other big houses that piece would have been 4,000 something. It was pretty reasonable, and that flew right away. I mean, much more faster than a t-shirt actually. So that was a good symbol of what we can achieve together. I'm sure we are a good duet for fashion.
You should do it again.
Yeah, we should. I mean,
I always ask him.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We'll do it. I was just, okay, I'm gonna say it live in front of TV. I'm creating a new brand, so it takes time and energy, but we can start and work again on something, because I think it goes well, and I really like when he comes here because he feels home. Actually, he's very frustrated now during this interview because there's casting right now and fittings, and I'm sure he wants to be part of it.
I like fittings.
Yeah, he likes fitting and he likes this whole energy.
Yeah.
First time I talked with Jean, we're talking about 3 or 4 hours about politics. Was it the same when you met?
First of all, I didn't know you. There's a guy coming from a friend of mine, and I say hi to him, and we talk. He talks for 2 hours. I mean, you did a lot of talking.
Yeah.
I was very fascinated, and then I asked him what he was doing in life. And yes, that day he happened to be wearing
A really expensive leopard leather jacket.
Yes.
I mean, not a leather jacket, but leopard jacket.
leopard skin jacket. Yes.
Did you wear it after?
I might have worn it a couple times. I don't know. It's like I don't wear it anymore.
When we prepared the first rack of inspiration for him for first collaboration, we had in our collection a leopard print. And he did not like it that we proposed it to him because that was too obvious. Like I'm the hip hop guy, so you're proposing me leopard skin. I mean, it's in everyday life of fashion to have that kind of prints. Actually, there's a sentence in Italian. Quanto va mal il leopardo, which means when business is down, take some animal print on the market, and that goes better.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like to have a sexy woman for a magazine.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they do in the winter in Man's Magazine. They put a sexy woman, and then the sales goes up.
Kanye, what did you learn about the fashion with Jean concretely?
Oh, I learned so much about research, and he allowed me to go to his A.P.C archives, and I learned about the process, making bold decision making, and the importance of that, like in design, schedules, timelines, and now I can like make decisions way better.
2 last questions.
Yeah.
Will we have a Watch the Throne 2?
I can't tell you.
What's your definition of a clique?
The world, humanity, we're all one clique.
Thank you very much.
All right, cool.
Thank you. Thank you. You are more humble than people could think. Why don't people realize that?
I think because in my fight to be able to create, I've had to assert who I was because I wasn't being recognized as such. And for me to say, hey, you know, I can create in this space, I can do this. No one wants me to say that. No one wants me to say that out loud, you know. And until I'm able to do it, I'm gonna say it. Now that I'm able to do it a bit more, I can say it a bit less. You know, I can let the work speak.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you've given everything you had, every hour you had, every dime you had, every relation you had trying to create, and everything stopped you, at a certain point you have to scream for what you believe in. And it's okay to believe in yourself. That's an okay thing to believe in. You know, if you were going to contribute to society in a way like I want to, you know, it's worth some screaming to get it done. I think that life is a long movie. Every day isn't a defined, you know, episode. This isn't a TV show. This isn't a commercial. This is a lifetime. So in this lifetime, we'll see this this journey of a man growing, learning to communicate, and realizing what he can do with his message.